Hey divers, Alec Peirce again, Alec Peirce Scuba, Tech Tips, and again, this is a tech tip based on somebody's question. Somebody asked me about reels. What do I know about reels? Well, I've used reels a great deal. Today, of course, you can go into any dive store and pick up a beautiful, well-made, machined aluminum, stainless steel reel. Beautiful. Our reels years ago were basically like a kite string. Piece of wood with a bunch of rope wrapped around it. But we sure learned in a hurry what to do and what not to do using those because they were very easy to get tangled up. I don't like rope, or even worse, line, which is thin rope, underwater. Good old Murphy's Law. If you have a whole bunch of line underwater and it's not under complete control, you can be guaranteed to get wrapped around your fins or your regulator, one or the other behind you. So, you know, you get down, you got a whole mess of line around you. Get away from it as quick as you can and get it under control. And the reel does exactly that. A reel really does several things. If you have to have a line of some sort, line is a technical term, rope, thin rope, but we'll call it a line because we sound cool. And so a line, you see, if you have a line underwater for whatever reason, maybe you're searching for something and you can tie a line on and make a circle and search everything in the circle, then make a bigger circle if you know about underwater navigation and search and recovery, those things we do. Or maybe you're going into a cave or a shipwreck and you want to be absolutely certain you can get out, where you can hook a line onto the entrance and pull the line, keep the line as you go in and look around, and if you ever need to, you can quickly get out. Or maybe a very common use for a reel of some sort is to deploy a surface marker. So that if you're down 40, 50, 60 feet, and if you know it's a rough day in particular or for some other reason, you want to deploy a surface marker, then what you can do is hook your line onto it, blow up the surface marker, and then let it out slowly. So the surface marker goes up, you can watch it if you're in clear water, up, up, up. When it reaches the surface, you keep it taut, so the surface marker doesn't fall over and deflate. You keep it nice and snug, and you can use the line for that purpose as well, and reel it in as you get closer and closer to the surface. It helps the boat, the dive boat, if there is one, know where you are and marks where you are. There's lots of uses for a line, but it's not something you would use in every dive. If you're down there taking pretty pictures of the fish or the coral, or other photography or spearfishing and so on, other activities that don't require the use of a line, don't be dragging it along. I see some divers and they come down onto the dive boat and we're going out to Molasses Reef in Key Largo where it's 30 feet deep and there's nice coral and fishes and all kinds of neat junk out there. And they got everything on. They got a dive light, they got slates, and they got 2 lines and reels and marks and all kinds of things. Hey, go for it. I wish I was a dive store owner that they frequent. But anyway, you don't need it. If you don't need it, don't take it. Keep it as simple as possible. You want to have what's essential for the dive. You don't want to be scrambling and looking for something that you need. But using your own common sense and knowing the environment, hopefully, or depend on your buddy's experience, decide what you need and take it. However, sometimes a line on a reel is very important. Let's look at a couple. This is a very common and a very sophisticated line on a reel. And you can see that this is a plastic reel, the clear plastic portion. I'm going to stay still for a minute, Kevin, and show you some of these features, okay? The clear plastic portion is the reel itself. So it's on a crank, you see. Let me just loosen it up here. So you can reel the line in. That's what it's called, a reel. You reel it in. So you pull the end of the line off. I can't even find the end in here. And there we go, right there. You pull this off and you tie it to the entrance of the cave, or you tie it to the shipwreck, or you tie it to your marker buoy. You see this is a loose end. And then as you come to the surface or as you go into the cave, you reel this in or out as need be. It's really very simple. Now this sort of has a good solid Cycolac hard plastic handle on here. Very, very hard to break, which is good. Look for these features. If you're going to buy this darn thing and pay $30, $40, $50 for something like this, take a few minutes and make sure it's decent quality, okay? It has an aluminum frame. The blue is aluminum frame. And you see there's a handle here. The handle has a hole in it as well, so you can have a second clip. This clip is designed to hook it onto your BC or hook it on somewhere so that you have it handy. You can put a second hook up here if you need to. Some divers put a second hook on. Some divers have a hook that hooks onto a wrist lanyard. Not sure if I like that, but you have to work with your buddy and with your instructor if you're taking a special course and see what works for you. But this is pretty typical how it works. Now, this blue band of the frame that comes across the top, it's got a slot in it. You see that? Can you see that there, Kevin? So that slot is there to help you to keep the line from getting tangled up. So you see the cord comes out through that slot, you see. So now when you start to reel it in, the line goes onto the reel nice and neatly back and forth and makes a nice neat, and you pull it out, it goes through that. It's not just falling off all over the place, right? Okay, let's look at some of the other features. First of all, this oh, that comes off pretty easily. Boy, oh boy, you gave a quick whip on that to fly out. So most good quality, decent reels have a friction control right here. See this knob? So you turn this in nice and snugly. Now watch. You see, now you have to pull so it stays taut. This is really good because if you're going into a shipwreck, okay, so you tie this to the door, the opening on the side of the shipwreck, and you don't want this all over the place. So you tie that to the door. As you travel in, it stays nice and taut and comes off. It doesn't get all over the place, you know, and all of you. So that's what that's for, a friction control. When you go to reel it in, you can loosen a little bit if you wanted to, and now you can reel it in nice and easily and put it back in. So this is an important thing, okay, the handle for reeling and the friction control. One more thing, sometimes these will tend to let the line go when you don't want it to. And you don't want the reel to let any line go until you're ready for it. So again, a quality reel like this one will have a lock. You see this right here? This is a lock. So you turn that lock, you turn that lock in like so. That's quality as well, hard quality. Now watch. Exactly, it won't turn at all. See, it locks the plastic reel so the line won't come off at all. So those are really the features that you're looking for. Make sure it's quality materials. Aluminum, stainless steel, and very good quality plastic, not cheap plastic, Cycolac quality plastic. And the features you should have are a good handle. You see how it sticks out? Because you want to be able to grab it with your hand. If you have a little handle in here, so you can grab this easily and turn easily. You want a friction lock on it, and you want to have a lock on it. Other than that, the rest of the things you might add, if you see some divers who use reels a great deal, then you may see other features. But they'll always have some type of a swivel, brass or stainless steel clip, so you can clip it onto your equipment and it's ready to go. This is particularly good if you are diving inside of a shipwreck. You can clip this on here, set the friction snugly, tie this to the beginning of the shipwreck, and off you go. It'll be tugging on you, but it also is leaving a line to the exit. So this is a pretty typical reel. There's only one thing I don't like about, well, there's two things, they're related things I don't like about this reel. Darn thing is really big. It's really big. It's not as big as my tank, but it's getting there. You know, it's just big and bulky. If you really need it, and you need a lot of line, then you need it. That's all there is to it. But generally, for just a general purpose, really, you don't need this. I think it says 250 feet of line. Now, if you have 250 feet of line, and you're at the end of the line, you're not diving in the same area that you started, right? Now maybe, but it's not often you need that much line. You're not diving that deep, and you usually don't travel that far horizontally. So be careful of that. So what you can do, if you want, watch. A little more practical maybe. Here's the same thing. Exactly the same. I'll take the tag off. Exactly the same. Look, let me undo the lock on here, and there's a line, comes off like that. It goes through the hole in the top like so, so that it keeps it in control. This is exactly the same thing. This one has a silver aluminum body instead of blue. I don't know if that means anything. Maybe the big ones are blue and the smaller ones are silver. Don't know. And it's got the same clip, exactly the same clip. Stainless steel fittings on there. Yep. Got a nice big handle on there. It's got the friction control. Yep, good. It's got a lock. Yeah, it's the same reel. It's exactly the same reel. It's identical. Well, this one has 150 feet of line. 150 feet. Now that's a lot more practical. If you're diving and you're down 50, 60, 70 feet, and you want to let your surface, you don't need 250 feet of line. It's just more than enough. And if you're diving inside of a shipwreck and you're traveling horizontally, 150 feet to me sounds like a pretty reasonable distance. Now I know some of you tech divers out there, you deep cave divers and wreck divers and so on, you explore and you have the training, you have the proper training and the proper equipment. 250 feet is not really that much. But for the average diver, for the most common type of diving where a reel might be needed, 150 feet to me seems to be pretty reasonable. And another reason I think that is, there's actually another type of reel that's very common. Look at this. You know, I like simple. Hey, this is simple. So we got a line, right? We're calling this rope line now. So I have a line, I have a clip, right? That's it. And there you go. I just told you to get all the features that you need. Well, this has all those features. It has a line, This is 100 feet of line. It's not too much line. Has a really good quality clip, and it has a really hard plastic reel. What about the handle to reel it in? Well, you see my finger? Put your finger through it, and then put your other finger up here, and then you go. This is called a finger reel. I'm going to do it the other way. It's easier. I'm very right-handed. I can't even scratch my eye with my left hand. So you put your finger through there, and with practice, obviously I haven't practiced too much, but you can actually, this is called a finger reel, and you can actually reel it in just like that. Well, you wouldn't want one of these with a whole bunch of line, because I think the line would come off with this fairly easily. You want to be careful with these. But these are small, they're compact. You can get a little mesh bag. You can actually clip this to the line, put this around here and clip it onto the line like so that it doesn't get away on you. Let me see if I can do that just to show you. Clip this onto the, give me a hand here, Kevin. Oh, that's right, you don't go in front of the camera, do you? So you clip it on the line like so, and you can pull it reasonably snugly, and it won't come off, you see. And then normally you would just keep this in your BC pocket. This has a double clip, so you can clip the other end onto your BC, but I wouldn't want it to be coming out and all that line all over the place. So I would probably put this into a BC pocket. If you don't have a BC pocket, you can purchase mesh, really good quality mesh pockets, different sizes. Put this in a mesh pocket, and those mesh pockets clip onto your BC. So you have a mesh pocket for your finger reel with the line on it when you need it. Okay, this would be great. If you find you're swimming along and oh gosh, look, there's a cave. Let's go inside and see what it's like. Well, you can clip this onto the outside of the cave, and off you go. So it could be handy. And of course, the size says handy. I mean, this says handy, doesn't it? Unlike the other reels. And they're a lot less money too. So there's a rough idea, just some ideas on reels, what they're good for, and some tips on when you're looking for a reel, what to look for. Quality line on it, aluminum, stainless steel, no steel, no steel, ordinary steel, just rust. Quality aluminum too, good hard anodine, not something cheap. If you can bend it, no good. And the plastic portions need to be quality plastic. Think about the steering wheel in your car. Most steering wheels are made of Cycolac, which is a fancy word for extra strong plastic. It could bend a little bit, but try to break a steering wheel, try. So this is the kind of plastic it is. Tension and a lock. And you've got all the features you need. You'll have to decide how much line you need. A lot of divers I know have 2 or 3 reels. So depending on what they're doing, they may have 2 or 3. There you go. All about reels. Really. I forget who it was that asked me to do something about reels. Well, I've done something about reels just for you. And I hope that the rest of you have learned something about reels. And if sometime in one of your dives in the future, you say, gosh, we need a line so we can keep track of whatever, now you know what to do. Go and get a reel and you know what to look for. And I hope that helped a great deal. Talk to you soon. Alec Peirce Scuba.